Walk into any tech store today and they'll try to convince you that a good tablet has to cost $800 to $900, sometimes over a grand. But here's the weird thing. That's only true if you buy what they want you to see. Because hidden a few scrolls down on Amazon are tablets that cost shockingly little, yet deliver features the expensive brands quietly left out. Bigger batteries, cleaner displays, louder speakers. These tablets don't have billboards, influencers, or giant marketing budgets, which is exactly why most people miss them. So today, I'm breaking down 5 cheap tablets that outperform devices triple their price. Let's get into it. Number 1. Lenovo Tab K11. Lenovo Tab K11 is a budget-friendly 11-inch Android tablet that tries to do a bit of everything without feeling cheap. You're getting a sharp 11-inch IPS touchscreen with a smooth 90Hz refresh rate, so scrolling, note-taking, and streaming all feel snappier than on typical 60Hz budget tabs. Pair that with quad speakers tuned with Dolby Atmos and you've got a pretty great little movie and Netflix machine for the couch. Inside, there's a MediaTek Helio G88 chip, 8GB of RAM, and 128GB of storage, plus a microSD slot if you want to expand up to 1TB. It's not built for heavy gaming, but it handles everyday work apps, school tasks, multitasking with split screen or floating windows, and even some casual games just fine. The tablet runs a clean build of Android 14 with minimal bloat. You also get LTE support for on-the-go data, GPS for navigation, dual-band Wi-Fi, an 8-megapixel front camera for calls, and a 13-megapixel rear camera with LED flash. The metal Luna Gray body is slim at about 7mm and under 500 grams, so it feels surprisingly premium in the hand. Battery life is solid too, with around 7 to 8 hours of mixed use. Add in the included stylus and optional folio keyboard that turns it into a mini 2-in-1, and the Tab K11 becomes a very compelling, affordable work and play tablet. Number 2. Samsung Tab A9 Plus. The Samsung Galaxy Tab A9 Plus is a surprisingly capable budget tablet for the price, especially in the US, where it often dips well below its $220 retail, sometimes around $170 to $190 if you catch a sale. You're getting an 11-inch TFT LCD with a smooth 90Hz refresh rate, which makes scrolling, gaming, and multitasking feel much snappier than older 60Hz A-series tabs. It's not AMOLED, but the colors are decent and, more importantly, the screen gets bright enough for pretty much any indoor use. The aluminum build feels solid and lightweight, with quad speakers, a USB-C port, microSD expansion up to 1TB, and even a headphone jack. Inside, the Snapdragon 695 with 4GB of RAM is fine for everyday use, light productivity, and casual gaming, though apps do reload more often than you'd like, and multitasking can bump into RAM limits. If you can find the 8GB plus 128GB version at a similar price, it's absolutely worth the upgrade. Battery life is a big win. Users are seeing 8 to 10 plus hours of screen on time across a couple of days, but 15-watt charging is pretty slow, and there's no charger in the box. Cameras are strictly tablet average at 8-megapixel rear and 5-megapixel front. Okay for zoom. The real secret weapon is software. One UI 6.0, multi-user support, Quick Share, Smart View, and Samsung DeX make this one of the cheapest tablets that can mimic a mini laptop setup. The only major omission is S Pen support, but for the price, the Tab A9 Plus delivers a lot of tablet for not a lot of money. Number 3. Xiaomi Redmi Pad 2. The Redmi Pad 2 arrives as a budget tablet that promises a lot more than its price tag suggests, and for the most part, it delivers. Powered by the Helio G100 Ultra, it isn't a performance beast, but it handles everyday tasks like social media, streaming, and light productivity surprisingly well, especially when you crank the display up to its 90Hz refresh rate. Gaming is doable too, though titles like Call of Duty Mobile and Real Racing 3 do show occasional stutters during heavy scenes. Design-wise, Redmi surprises with an aluminum chassis and even a headphone jack, something you rarely see in 2025. The mint green model leans more silver than green, but the build feels sturdy and practical. You get up to 8GB of RAM, 256GB of storage, microSD expansion, Dolby Atmos speakers, and a massive 9,000 mAh battery that lasts a full day of mixed use, although heavy gamers will be charging nightly. The cameras are basic, with an 8-megapixel rear sensor and a 5-megapixel front shooter that's fine for Zoom calls but nothing more. Connectivity is standard with dual-band Wi-Fi and older Bluetooth, and while Android 15 with HyperOS runs smoothly, long-term software support is limited. The biggest drawbacks are the modest performance bump from the first generation, the missing power adapter, and the underwhelming 4GB RAM option, so go for 8GB if possible. Overall, the Redmi Pad 2 is a budget tablet done right, great for kids, students, and casual users who value price over power. Number 4. Huawei MatePad 11.5. The Huawei MatePad 11.5 is basically Huawei's do-it-all rectangle for people who live on a tablet, as long as you're okay living without Google. Out of the box, you're actually treated pretty well. You get the tablet, a smart keyboard, the 3rd-gen M Pencil stylus, USB-C cable, supercharge adapter, and even a ridiculously fancy microfiber cloth. The tablet itself feels premium, an 11.5-inch 3:2 slate that's slim at about 6.2 millimeters, around half a kilo, with an aluminum unibody and matte finish that shrugs off fingerprints. Bezels are slim but still thick enough to grip, and you can pick between a safe space gray or a subtle violet that looks more silver with a hint of purple. The real star is the paper matte display, 2,456 by 1,600 at up to 120 Hz. Not the brightest on the market, but super readable outdoors with almost no reflections. Great for reading, note-taking, and gaming. Harmony OS runs the show, which means no Google Play, Gmail, or Chrome. You're using Huawei's App Gallery plus Pedal Search and APK installs, so US users need to be comfortable sideloading. Performance from the unnamed Kirin chip is snappy enough for multitasking and casual gaming, helped by loud, surprisingly punchy quad speakers. The M Pencil feels fantastic with over 10,000 pressure levels and near zero lag, while the Smart Keyboard is genuinely good for typing and even works detached. A 10,100 mAh battery delivers excellent all-day life, with 40-watt charging taking around an hour and a half. Overall, brilliant hardware and accessories, but the lack of Google services makes it a niche pick in the US, rather than an easy recommendation. Number 5. Xiaomi Redmi Pad Pro. Xiaomi's Redmi Pad Pro is basically a 12-inch Android workhorse for people who want a big screen without a crazy price tag. You're getting a 12.1-inch LCD with a sharp 2560 by 1600-ish resolution, 16:10 aspect ratio, and 120 Hz refresh rate, so it feels great for multitasking, Netflix, or some Genshin on the couch. The bezels are there, but just thick enough to grip comfortably, and the metal unibody with matte finish feels sturdy and premium without turning into a fingerprint magnet. At around 571 grams with Gorilla Glass 3 up front, it's light enough to toss in a backpack, and yes, there's still a headphone jack, plus quad speakers with Dolby Atmos, which is huge if you care about sound. Xiaomi's HyperOS on top of Android 14 is relatively clean, with minimal bloat, solid split-screen tools and floating windows, though you're limited to 2 at once, and YouTube can't always pop out like other apps. Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 and up to 8GB of RAM keep things smooth, and heavier games run well without the tablet cooking your hands. The 8-megapixel front camera is well placed for landscape video calls, and the 10,000 mAh battery is a beast, easily handling all-day use or 14 hours of streaming with 33-watt wired charging to top it back up. 2 OS updates and 3 years of security patches aren't class-leading, and the keyboard and stylus cost extra, but overall it's a capable big-screen tablet for work, school, and media. So here's the bottom line. You don't need to drop $800 or $1,000 to get a tablet that actually feels fast, looks good, and lasts all day. These budget tablets prove you can get smooth performance, big screens, loudspeakers, and all-day battery life for a fraction of the price. If you want links to any of them, check the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.